Abstract Essay, where the essay shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She is the CEO and founder of Culture Redesign, author, speaker, and of course, leadership and culture development expert, none other than Miss Adriana Vaccaro. Welcome, Miss Adriana on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name is Adriana Vaccaro. I am a first generation Latina who went from feeling the effects of broken systems to rebuilding them for others. I am an author, a leadership development coach, and an organizational culture consultant in Massachusetts.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Adriana. Thank you. And today let's talk about culture minded leadership. Let's start with the fundamental distinction. What is the critical differences between a leader who simply manages a company's culture and true culture minded leader?
Yes, the culture minded leader understands the importance of the environment. I wrote the book because good people are burning out inside bad systems, and it doesn't have to be that way. A culture minded leader is able to understand how every single behavior, every single word that is spoken creates the environment. The culture you ignore is the behavior you allow. So culture minded leaders are dedicated to understanding that the environment is what propels people to work better together.
To work for greater good. That's something good, Miss Adriana. Why has the culture minded leadership shifted from a nice to have soft skill to strategic imperative for business survival and growth in today's landscape?
That's a great question. If you want better performance, you need to build a better environment. So people rise when conditions support them. And right now, there are globally a lot of things that are affecting the workplace. There is the loneliness pandemic, right? We are working in remote places, and even if we have a team, we feel alone. There is a lot of mental health challenges. Um, the research in my book talks about how the impact of the workplace has an effect when you go home to your family or to do your normal life. So if we understand that the culture is what shapes the future of an organization, we can retain employees and support them in getting to the best version of themselves.
The best version of themselves is something good. Miss Adriana, some argue that focusing on culture can come at the expense of performance and results. How do you respond to the claim that is a distinction from the real work?
Yes, so I believe culture supports trust, and trust is the currency for high performance. When teams trust each other, things tend to happen faster and they cost less money. When teams don't trust each other, things take a longer time and the cost is higher. So high trust culture are naturally high performing cultures. They actually outperform because people think, speak, and solve problems without fear.
Yes, definitely. And Miss Adriana, how does a culture minded leader balance the need for cohesive, strong culture with equal need for adversity and diversity of thought and constructive dissent?
I think one of the keys of culture minded leadership is really cultivating psychological safety, which is not really about being nice, it's about enabling truth, innovation, and accountability. So, a culture minded leader is trained to provide feedback that supports improvement. It is a feedback that supports growth mindset at the individual and the collective level.
Yes, indeed. Collective level, indeed, and practical implementation and action, Miss Adriana. Culture is often abstract. What are some, or what are one or two tangible, non negotiable actions that distinguish a culture minded leader on a random Tuesday?
I love that question. We do have actually six capabilities in the book, but I'll talk about two of them. The first one is vision. A culture minded leader is able to really cast that clear vision, compelling vision that other employees can subscribe to. That vision is what keeps people going to work, wanting to be part of that mission, and feeling that if you contribute, you belong. We tend to go about about it the other way. We want people to belong and then contribute, but actually contribution is the easiest, fastest path for people to feel and experience belonging. So that's one that is definitely measurable, how their ability to signal the vision of the organization. And another one that is also highly measurable is how they demonstrate their values. So we don't want leaders that speak about values. We want leaders that demonstrate consistently values, more so in moments of high stress, high pressure. That is when we want to see that integrity, that cohesion, that teamwork, whatever they want to put on the wall. And I support wall posters on culture, but the important part is what they demonstrate. So that demonstration of behavior, if we ask employees around them, do you see those values demonstrated by your leader? Yes or no? It's very tangible.
Interesting, Miss Adriana. And how does a leader effectively audit or take the true temperature of their current culture beyond what the employee engagement survey might say?
We do have a few tools. They're actually free for anyone on the book portal. And by answering a series of questions, you can see what type of leader you are. So, normally, culture minded leadership will manifest at four different levels. So, whatever level you're at today, the test gives you like a prescriptive on how to get to the next level. And it is important to concentrate on value. Even if you don't take a test, if you want to know where you are, think about what are you demonstrating in terms of your values. Think about when you're having a bad day, what is the experience that employees around you are having? Do they also have a bad day because you're having a bad day, or are you able to protect their environment and manage your own emotions, stay regulated so that they can still have a fulfilling day? And then another one will be like, if we don't want to look at employee engagement scores, at least we want to understand if employees are able to contribute. Am I allowing every person in the organization to be who they want to be and contribute fully to the mission?
Yes, contribute to the fully in the mission is something else. And Miss Adriana, you can decree culture from an email. What is the most powerful way for a leader to consistently model and embody the cultural values they preach?
Yes, I will say creating those moments of trust with everyone in the organization. And it doesn't have to be a 3 hour one-on-one session, but I see it as a value deposit. You can look at it as if you were looking at your bank account. You cannot take and take money out and never put money in. So we want to think about what are the different ways in which you can make value deposits with each of your team members. It might be a project that you assign to them. It might be allowing them to have input in a project plan. It might be how you give them feedback that is constructive, but you also care. That you also show that you care about them personally. So those value deposits consistently create a high level of trust, and then you can see the collective results of that.
Collective results. That's what we are aiming for. And Miss Adriana, in a hybrid and or a remote environment where the water cooler culture is gone, what are the most effective new levers and culture-minded leader can pull?
I will say get to understand what works for each person. We all have different styles. So, well, someone might want to get instructions in an email, someone else might need a short one on one. So, I think in the virtual or hybrid work environment, we really need to understand how to optimize our relationships with each person and even how different teams might work differently. So we want to allow some sort of independence so that each team can figure out what works for them while still being aligned to the overall culture of the organization.
Indeed. And Miss Adriana, on hiring, firing, and reinforcing culture. The saying is hire for a culture fit, but that can lead to homogeneity. How does a culture minded leader think about culture art instead?
Yeah, so I don't agree with hiring for culture fit because we're sort of telling a person how they have to be to succeed at an organization. But I do believe in hiring for values alignment. If the organization has a clear set of values, and we all as individuals, whether we know them or not, we have values as well. Those values are what allow us to make decisions. So understanding individual values and understanding the organizational values, is there alignment among those? That is the best way to ensure that a person is going to succeed in the environment. Of course, we also have to look at skills and experience and ability to learn and different things depending on the organization and the workplace. But if we are aligned emotionally with the values, we are able to perform at a better level from the start.
Indeed, alignment, people, because even the universe is aligned so that we can survive in this wilderness, chaotic universe. And Miss Adriana, how should a leader handle a high performing employee who is brilliant and in their job but effectively toxic to the culture?
I have experienced myself that employee multiple times in multiple places.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a framework for feedback from a book called Radical Candor, and it talks about you can whatever you allow from an employee is what you will continue to promote as part of the culture. I know it's a hard statement to make, but I don't care if it's your best salesperson. If they are toxic, they need an opportunity to get awareness. They need an opportunity to correct their behavior, and if that doesn't work, they and you want to protect everyone else in the culture of your organization, that person should exit. And it's so sad that it's actually usually a really good performer that tends to be toxic. And I don't think is something I recommend.
Yes. And Miss Adriana, as a CEO and founder, as well as an author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Oh, well, I really have a large romantic goal. I do believe that we can make the world a better place and we can improve humanity one workplace at a time. So my goal is to contribute to that dream, and at a personal level to, be a good human, a good mother, a good citizen.
A good citizen indeed. And thank you for that goal and looking forward for more success and good luck for that. And Miss Adriana, what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
My piece of advice will be: culture is the strategy behind every strategy. So if you think you're going to work on culture later, I want to remind you, if you work on culture now, any other plan or strategy will be more successful.
More successful indeed. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Diana. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Absolutely. So I want to recommend my book, Culture Minded, and I also have another book that I love, and it's called The Speed of Trust from Stephen Covey. And I think it really has impacted my work as a leader and as a consultant.
Yes, and thank you for that recommended books as well as your book itself, Miss Adriana. And so tell us, looking forward, what new challenge or challenges and opportunities for a culture-minded leadership do you see with the rise of AI and increase of workplace automation?
Definitely doing a lot of work and a lot of research in that area. And I think, well, AI make organizations faster. Culture decides whether they get better or not. So I think as we adopt AI, there are two things. Think about the readiness of the culture to effectively and ethically adopting a new tool. That's number one. And then number two, I will say technology multiplies whatever culture already exists. So if you have a healthy culture, it will make it healthier. If you have an unhealthy culture, it will be even more toxic. So AI doesn't replace leadership. If anything, it exposes it.
Yes. And Miss Adriana, if what gets measured gets managed, how do we measure the health of a culture in a way that goes beyond turnover rates?
I think you can measure culture in multiple ways, like even how employees feel every morning before they go to work. I feel like that is a great marker to know how you're doing as a leader, right? You don't have to do it every single Monday, but we want to know how employees are feeling, particularly on Monday. That is the idea of allowing people to feel safe in the workplace. That's also something you can easily measure. And then there are other measurements we can take as we kind of like get the pulse on how employees are feeling, especially around mental wellness. The suicide rates are really terrible right now. So understanding that we have an influence on someone's mental health as their employer. That is one way to really stay aware of culture.
Aware and be aware. So, Miss Adriana, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in third season, and Ma Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, and Music 101 our fourth season. Science 101, Sex 101 in second season of My Baby Podcast, Law 101. Mental Health 101 and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Adriana, finally, for later listening who feels overwhelmed, what is the one small consistent practice they can start tomorrow to begin shifting their focus toward being a more culture minded?
I will say understand that our brain is really impacted by our language, the way we talk to ourselves, the thoughts we hold. So I will say stay focused on giving yourself some self-care and some love. It doesn't have to be a spa day. It could be, I want to have a great day today. Simple, but your brain is listening. So let's make sure we pay attention to what we're telling our own brain.
Yes, I want to have a great day in every single day that I will live. How's that, Miss
That's
Adriana?
beautiful. I
Yes. Awesome, awesome. And one more question, Ms. Adriana. A strong culture can sometimes become an echo chamber. How do you build a mechanism for feedback and to ensure the culture can evolve and self correct?
I think there are a lot of tools to correct culture, but it sometimes we have the tools and we don't read the results. So I will say stay aware of the employee sentiment. Walk around and talk to people. Give them a call. Send them a text. Stay aware.
Yes. So, Miss Adriana, again, thank you so much for being part on Abstract Essay. And can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Thank you so much. I invite you all to visit cultureminded.com. That's a book portal. There are a lot of free resources. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, Adriana Vaccaro. Just look forward to supporting your journey in leadership. Thank you.
Yeah, so Miss Adriana, I'm inviting you to be part on Book 101 review and let's talk about your book itself. So, people, let's support Miss Adriana Vaccaro because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books will come or will rise, and more empowering business for sure will come. So, Miss Adriana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Monica people, see you soon.